Hey everybody, it's Hammerhead Cubing. Today I'm going to make the third video of my series on CFOP. Here is how to do f2l. There are a few things you're definitely going to need to know before you start learning this. First of all, obviously you need to know how to solve the 3x3. If you cannot solve the 3x3, I'd recommend watching my tutorial on that, and also you need to solve the cube using layer by layer method. So solve the cross, corners, edges, yellow, and then yellow edges and corners. And you need to know how to solve cross fairly fast. I have a tutorial on that, how to get faster at that. So be sure to go and watch that video. If you have already watched that, stay here. I will be explaining f2l. So before I get started, I'm going to be I'm just going to tell you what f2l is and yeah, just what it is. So if you have your cube all scrambled up, you normally go solve the cross, and then you would go and start inserting corners like so, and then after that you would insert the edges using an algorithm to insert it. But that takes 2 steps. With f2l, instead of inserting the corner then the edge, take this pair for example, you need to put this corner in and then this edge in. Instead of doing it one and then the other, you do them both at once. So you can use an algorithm for the first part to separate them, and the second one to pair them up like this, and then you insert them in their spot. So instead of having 2 steps, it's all in one, or algorithm, or whatever you want to call it. I do it intuitively without an algorithm. So we have this piece here and this piece here. You do this algorithm to insert it. You have this piece here and this piece here that need to go in. You do this algorithm, and then you do OLL and PLL. But it's as simple as that. You just do the first and the second at once instead of one at a time. So it makes it a lot faster, more efficient, and easier. It's just a lot to learn. So it starts out pretty hard to understand, but once you understand it, the rest is easy. You're going to figure out how to insert them fluently and without pauses. It'll feel more like an algorithm once it's memorized. But as you're still learning it, you'll do it completely intuitively, and you'll see, how am I going to pair these 2 pieces up? Instead of, I see these 2 pieces, I'm going to pair them up using this algorithm. So there are a few parts to learning f2l. The first part is learning how to pair 2 pieces and what a paired edge looks like. So we have this red and green edge and this red, green, and white corner. Now it takes 1 move to pair them up, and what you have the white facing you, and then red on top, and then you have green to the side. So 2 opposite colors are on top. Remember, you got to make sure 2 opposite colors are on the top, and then you can never have a case like this where white is in front and your pair is in the back. You have to have it to the side. And then when you have this case, it's very easy to pair them up. You do 1 move, and there we go. So just an F prime in this case to pair them up. And this is the most common case you're going to want to get. You want to put your 2 pieces in this case. Now, it might take a few moves to get it there. If you have a pair like this, you can simply separate them into this case. Now, it takes a while to remember, but the way I remember it is 2 opposite colors on top, and you look at the white, and if the edge you want to pair it with is behind it, then you can't pair it using one move. But if it's beside it, and these have opposite colors, then you can pair it using one move. So I'll show you an example in just a second of one that's in the back or one that's not opposite colors. But first, let's insert these. So an easy way to insert it in just 3 moves is find where it needs to go, red and green. You put your corner right above it, and then you see where your pair is, and you turn in that direction towards the pair to pair it up, and then you simply pair the white and insert it in. It seems confusing at first, but as you do it with different colors and stuff like that, it will seem easier. So this case here, we have a white with red and blue, and we have a red and blue edge here. Now, our goal is either to pair it up completely to a pair like this, or set it up to where it's like we had this one. In this case, it is much easier to pair it up like this. Now, it's very simple to think. If they're both on the same, you can even have a case like this. If they're both the same, and when you pair it, it'll have opposites like that. You do not want that. Instead, you go down. Make sure the back slot that you're using is not solved. Because if you go and try and insert it like this, and you pair it up, you just took this piece out of your solved spot. So that is one very important thing with f2l. I call them trash slots, where you have a slot that's not solved, and you can use that to insert your other f2l pair. For example, this one, in the process of inserting it, obviously it's not solved, so we can just pair it up and put it in. But because you can't pair it up using this one move, instead you try and find a trash slot behind it. In this case, this is the one. So you're going to rotate and turn so that way your trash slot's back there. And you open up your trash slots up here now. And then you do U2. So these two, when you go back up, you pair it up and nothing is messed up. You still have your pair here, and this slot that was once different pieces is now these pieces, but that doesn't matter because it wasn't solved. And then you can insert it like you normally would a corner. You cannot insert it this way, which is a common way of inserting a corner. Make sure it's on the right side or the left side, depending on which pair you're inserting. And then you're going to go like that and simply insert it in. So those are the 2 cases you're going to want to have. You either want to have a case where you have white in front, you have your 2 colors here and 2 colors here, and they're opposite on top. You do not want 2 of the same. So you either want that, or you want it to be a case where you have it solved like this to insert it in. Those are the 2 inserting cases. Now, you can have so many possible different cases like this or something that you're going to have to break it apart and then pair it up like this, where I have white to insert it in, or you might have a case that's a little different where you can just pair it up like that. One thing that'll help you get a little faster at this is if you have one in the bottom layer, you're trying to get it out, don't just randomly take it out, because now you have this case, and what you have to do anyway is put it back in, line this up where you want it, putting this corner up here so they're opposite on top, and white's here, and this pair is not behind it, it's beside it. And then U2, so you're not, when you take it back in, you're not ruining anything. And then U2 again, so you can insert it in. So that's the basics of it. It is not that hard once you understand it. So those are the basics. You want the either one pair that it takes one move to pair it up, or one pair that's already solved. So I'm going to go ahead and solve the cross and do another few example pairs and show you how I do them and kind of explain as I go. Okay, we have very simple case here. Now, they're already paired up, and that is something that you will probably get pretty commonly. A lot of the time you'll have something that's either paired up like this, or that's paired up like this, where you have white in front, opposite colors on top, where it just takes that move to insert it. And those are amazing. It's really lucky if you get those, but still it's not that uncommon. It's just a easier way to insert. So I'm going to insert this one here, this pair, and then here we have opposite colors, and we have white in front, which is good, but this is in the back. It's behind white, and that is a very and that's something you cannot pair up, because if you try and insert it, you get this, and obviously that's not what you want. Or you try and insert it the other way, and you're left with that piece still there. So, but make sure you're inserting it right. So in this case, what we can do is we have a trash slot in front, and we have this piece in the back, and we can put this down, so hide this, move this to the side, so it's where we want it when we come back up. So when we move this back up, now we have opposite colors on top, white's in front, and it's white. It's not, the pair is not behind it, it's beside. So now it just takes those moves to insert it. And then here, let's see, we have green and red and white here, and red and green here. You might think, oh, it's easy to pair it up, but you go and pair it like this, it's going to be opposite. And you do not want that. So instead, what you might notice is it's already kind of a hidden, like it's in a hidden slot. So what you can do is put this in the back. So you have your red-green pair in the back. And then when you put this up, now you have the case that you want. Two opposite colors. If the white's in the front, this is in the side, not in the back. And then you can make sure not to just do this. You have to do U2 to make sure you're not affecting either of those when you go back down. And then you can insert it. This, pair it up like this. Pair up the white and go back down. The last edge, we have a pretty easy case. So you have these two. So it takes a lot of thinking, but one way to do this is insert this into here while taking this out, which is a simple like corner insert. So you can just do that. There are many different ways of doing it, but this is what I do. And then if you have orange here, obviously you can't pair it up like this or like this. It doesn't work because white's on the bottom. But we have green on the top. So if you think green on the top with the edge, you'd want the opposite color on the top for the corner. So we want orange on the top. So we'll move this to the side. So if we do it like this, it won't pair up, because if white is in the front, this is in the back. We have to have it to the side. So this is our pair on the side. And then we have our corner here. We can put orange on top. So we have this pair. Take it out. Put this back down, and then we have a pair that's very easy to insert. So here I'm going to explain a few more cases. Some of them are very easy, and some of them take a bit of thinking. I'm not going to be able to get to all the cases, because obviously it's impossible to cover every single possible f2l case there is. You're going to have to figure a lot of that out, but I'm covering the basics, how to get stuff in the top layer, and how to pair some simple stuff up. So here we have where it's flipped, and right away it might look like it's pretty easy because they're already next to each other, yet just have to flip this, but it's not that simple. what you can do is, if you have a trash slot in the back, which I do, you can hide this piece, take this pair and move it U2, and then it's in the back, so when you put it back up, you have a setup pair where the white's in the front, this edge is on the side, and you have opposite colors on top. And then it's easy to insert from there. And you can kind of make that a very fluent move when you have that pair like that. Let's see. You have a pair like this. You can do it pretty fluently where you go here and then immediately do R2 to insert it in. But that you'll get used to that as you get faster. Here we already have a setup pair, so you can just insert this in. Here we have one that the same color is on top, so we'll want to change that by hiding this pair, trash slots in front, doing a U2, so when I go back up it pairs them. And then we can just insert that in right here. Then right here we have, again, two of them of the same. So we have a trash slot in front, so we got to move that, and then do U2, and pair it up again, and then insert it in. So that is the basics of f2l. There will be some more details that you might not understand. I will be making another video that's a little bit more in depth. Make sure to comment asking for the video. If I get enough comments, I will be making another one that goes a little bit more into depth. But otherwise, that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you learned f2l correctly. And thanks for watching. See you next time.